Hello everyone, this is Anime Uchiha here. Today be doing a what if issei was a Quinicie. Let's start. A Quinicie's birth. As the night settles, Mickey places baby Issei in his crib. The faint glow of a small lamp lights the room, casting soft shadows on the walls. Goro stands by the window, staring out into the quiet street. His hand rests on the curtain as his eyes scan the night sky, searching for something unseen. Mickey, whispering, watching him, "You're looking again, aren't you?" Goro, without turning, "Habit, I guess. You never know when something might show up." Mickey walks over, wrapping her arms around his waist. "Mickey, you don't have to carry everything alone, Goro. No one's coming for us. The Soul Reapers don't care about us anymore, and the Wandenrake, they probably think we're dead." Goro places a hand over hers, his expression softening but still tense. "Goro, maybe. But Quinicie blood calls to the spiritual world, Mickey. We've been lucky so far, but Issei changes everything. If the wrong people sense his power." He trails off, his gaze shifting to the crib. Issei stirs in his sleep, a tiny smile forming on his face as if he's dreaming of something pleasant. Mickey, smiling, "He's just a baby, Goro. He deserves a chance to be normal. No wars, no fighting, just a happy, simple life. For now, let's focus on that." Goro nods, though his eyes remain distant. "Goro, you're right. For now." 3 months later. The scene shifts to a bright morning. Goro is sitting at the kitchen table, cradling a giggling Issei in his arms while Mickey prepares breakfast. The sound of laughter fills the house, a rare moment of peace in their lives. Goro, bouncing Issei gently, "You've got some lungs on you, little guy. Think you're gonna shout hollows away when you're older?" Mickey, laughing, "Don't start, Goro. Let him enjoy his childhood before you throw the whole Quinicie thing on him." "Goro, I'm just saying, he's got a grip like a bowstring already." Pretending to wince as Issei grabs his finger, "Ow. See? Strong kid." Mickey shakes her head, bringing plates to the table. "Mickey, he's strong because he's healthy. Let him stay that way without worrying about all this Quinicie nonsense for a while." As they eat, Issei gurgles happily, reaching for Mickey's plate. Goro watches them both, his usual stern demeanor softening into a rare smile. Goro, quietly, "We'll protect him, no matter what. Quinicie or not, he's our son first." Mickey, smiling back, "And that's all he needs to know for now." The scene fades with the Hayadu family enjoying their peaceful life. But outside, unseen by them, a faint ripple of spiritual energy pulses from their home. In a distant forest, a hollow stirs, sensing something powerful awakening nearby. Morning in the Hayadu household. The sound of Mickey calling out fills the kitchen as she searches for Issei. Mickey, calling, "Issei. Breakfast is ready. Come on, no more hiding from Mama." Goro walks in, holding a cup of tea and shaking his head. "Goro, he's up to something again. I saw him carrying that toy bow of his. Kid's got some weird aim for a 2-year-old. Just then, Issei comes running into the room, his chubby face lit up with excitement. In one hand, he holds a makeshift bow made from a bent stick and some string. He stops abruptly, pointing toward the hallway. Issei, excitedly, "Mama. Papa. Big monster. I saw it." Mickey and Goro exchange a glance. Mickey, "Big monster? Sweetheart, there's no monster here." Goro, serious, kneeling to Issei's level, "What did it look like, Issei? Can you tell Papa?" Issei furrows his brow, trying to explain. "Issei, it was big and scary. It had no face, just a white mask, and it went Raya." Mickey's face pales slightly, and Goro stiffens. Mickey, forcing a laugh, "Oh, Issei, you and your imagination. Maybe you saw a shadow outside." Issei, no. I saw it. I pointed my bow at it, and it ran away. Goro places a hand on Issei's shoulder. Goro, it's okay, son. If it comes back, just let Papa know, okay? I'll keep you safe. Issei nods, but he doesn't look entirely convinced. Later that night. After putting Issei to bed, Goro and Mickey sit in the living room, their expressions tense. Mickey, whispering, Goro, you don't think. Goro, interrupting, it was a hollow. I'm sure of it. His spiritual pressure is getting stronger. They're starting to notice. Mickey, he's just a child. He shouldn't have to deal with this. Can't we suppress his power somehow? Goro, sighing, suppressing it might hurt him. He needs to grow into it naturally. But we need to be ready if another hollow comes. Mickey glances toward Issei's room, worry etched across her face. Mickey, we promised to protect him. We can't let the past catch up to him. Goro, nodding, we won't. But if he's seeing hollows already, it means his powers are waking up sooner than we expected. A strange encounter. Later that night, Issei wakes up and quietly sneaks out of his bed. Drawn by an odd sensation, he toddles toward the window and looks outside. In the darkness, he sees a faint blue glow swirling in the air, almost like fireflies. Issei, whispering, pretty lights. As he reaches out toward the glow, it suddenly coalesces into the shape of a small arrow, floating just beyond the glass. Issei giggles and claps his hands. Unbeknownst to him, a dark shape lingers in the shadows outside. A low growl echoes faintly through the night. Goro's vigil. Goro, sensing something amiss, steps outside with a flashlight and a Qunicie cross hidden in his pocket. The night air feels heavy, and his eyes narrow as he scans the street. Goro, to himself, I knew it. You can't hide from me. Suddenly, a hollow lunges from the darkness, its white mask gleaming under the moonlight. Goro quickly raises his Qunicie cross, forming a glowing blue bow in his hand. Goro, gritting his teeth, you picked the wrong family to mess with. He fires a single arrow, striking the hollow and causing it to dissolve into particles of light. But as the creature disappears, Goro feels a chilling presence nearby. The awakening of power. The Hayudu household, mourning. It's been a year since the incident with the hollow. Issei is now 5 years old, full of energy, and beginning to show signs of unusual ability. His parents, although trying to give him a normal life, are growing increasingly concerned about his latent Qunicie powers. Mickey is preparing breakfast in the kitchen, humming softly to herself. Issei is at the table, absent-mindedly playing with his food, but there's something odd in the air. The faintest glow seems to shimmer in his eyes as he stares at his spoon. Mickey, glancing over, Issei, don't play with your food, sweetie. Issei snaps back to reality, his eyes widening as he notices the spoon floating above the table. He quickly grabs it, hiding it behind his back, a sheepish look on his face. Issei, giggling nervously, I didn't do anything. Mickey smiles, unaware of the strange occurrence. She focuses on cooking, her back to him. Mickey, you're always full of energy, Issei. I'll be happy when you start school. Maybe it'll help you settle down. Issei nods, but there's an unease in his eyes. He has no idea how to explain the things he's been seeing and feeling. The strange lights. The way his hands sometimes spark with energy when he's angry. He knows he's different, but he doesn't understand why. Later that day, Goro's warning. After breakfast, Goro and Mickey sit down with Issei in the living room. The tone in the room is more serious today. Goro, his expression hard and serious, addresses Issei, who is sitting on the floor, playing with his toy bow again. Goro, Issei, listen to me. I need you to understand something important. Issei looks up at his father, the usual lightheartedness gone from his face. He knows when his dad is serious. Issei, what is it, Papa? Goro sighs, kneeling down so that he's eye level with his son. He places a hand on his shoulder. Goro, you have a gift, Issei. A gift that comes with a lot of responsibility. You're a Qunicie. You have powers that others would kill to get their hands on. Issei tilts his head, not fully understanding, but his eyes glint with curiosity. Issei, a Qunicie? Like in the stories you tell me? Goro, nodding, yes, but much more dangerous. Your powers aren't something to play with. You need to learn to control them before they get out of hand. Miki steps in, her tone softer but firm. Miki, what your father means is that your powers are waking up. We've been hiding them from you for as long as we could, but the truth is, you're stronger than you know. Issei looks up at his mother, his expression a mix of confusion and fear. Issei, stronger? But I don't want to hurt anyone. Goro, with a soft smile, you won't hurt anyone if you learn to control it, Issei. But you'll need to train. You'll need to understand what it means to be a Qunicie. Issei nods, though the weight of his father's words hangs heavily on him. The first lesson. That afternoon, Goro takes Issei outside into the small backyard. The air is crisp, and the wind carries the scent of the trees. Goro stands across from Issei, his expression serious. Goro, all right, Issei. I'm going to teach you the first thing every Qunicie needs to know. Focus your energy. The Qunicie bow is the core of our power. Goro takes out his own Qunicie cross, holding it firmly. A flash of light bursts from it, forming a radiant bow that shimmers in the air. He draws it, the string vibrating with spiritual energy. Goro, this is how we fight. The bow is a conduit for your spiritual energy. You draw it, focus on your target, and release. He turns to Issei, who is watching intently. Goro, try it, Issei. Focus your energy into your cross. Think about it like you're drawing a bow. See the target and take aim. Issei looks down at his small Qunicie cross. He feels a strange pull, an instinctual desire to make it work. His little hands grip it tightly. For a moment, nothing happens. But then, with a sharp intake of breath, the cross glows faintly. A small, but visible, light begins to form around his hands. Issei's eyes widen as a tiny, translucent bow materializes in front of him. It's weak and barely visible, but it's there. Issei, excited, panting, Papa. I did it. I did it. Goro smiles softly, pride in his eyes, though there's a trace of concern in his voice. Goro, you did. But you've only just begun, Issei. Your power is growing. Soon, you'll need to learn how to use it properly. Control is everything. The unseen watcher. As the lesson continues, a shadowy figure watches from the tree-line at the edge of the yard. Its eyes glimmer in the moonlight, sensing the power awakening in Issei. This figure knows the importance of the Hayadu family, and it will not let them remain hidden for long. The scene cuts to the mysterious figure, standing silently as the breeze rustles through the leaves. Its red eyes gleam with dark intent. The path of the Qunicie. The Hayadu household, early morning. The sunlight spills into the living room through the large windows, casting long shadows over the floor. Issei, now 6 years old, sits cross-legged on the floor, his Qunicie cross tightly gripped in his small hands. Goro stands in front of him, looking stern but patient. Miki watches from the kitchen, her concern evident as she prepares breakfast. Goro, all right, Issei. Today we start your real training. You've learned the basics, but now we'll teach you how to focus your energy and make it part of you. Issei nods eagerly, his eyes focused, determination etched into his young face. Though his body is small, there's a spark in his spirit, a growing desire to prove himself. Goro, placing his hand on Issei's head. The Qunicie aren't just about power. We're about precision and control. If you're going to succeed, you need to understand both. Today, we'll work on controlling your bow's form and your spiritual energy. The more you practice, the more your bow will grow. Issei raises his hand to his chest, taking a deep breath. The first lesson, spiritual energy control. Goro stands back, taking a stance as if preparing for a battle. Goro, I want you to close your eyes and focus on your spiritual energy. Feel it in your chest, like a warm, pulsing light. Let it spread through your body, feel its rhythm. Issei closes his eyes, furrowing his brow as he concentrates. He takes slow, steady breaths, his body relaxing as he focuses inward. A soft, faint glow surrounds his hands, and the air around him feels charged. Issei, murmuring, I can feel it, Papa. It's warm. Like a fire. Goro, good. Now, focus on gathering that energy into one point, your core. Once you have it concentrated, you'll be able to release it more easily. Do you feel it? Issei nods. The air around him shimmers faintly, but nothing solidifies. Goro, this is just the beginning. Every Qunicie learns how to manipulate their spiritual energy before they ever draw their bow. Once you can control it, your power will be limitless. Training progression, the bow's form. The next part of their training involves the Qunicie bow itself. Goro demonstrates the way to form the bow by channeling energy into the cross, allowing the spiritual energy to condense and shape into the familiar, glowing arc. He then gestures for Issei to try. Goro, focus. Imagine the bow forming, as if you're drawing it with your very soul. Issei concentrates, holding his cross in both hands, his small body trembling with the strain. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, slowly, a faint outline of a bow begins to take shape. Issei, excited, but struggling, it's there, but it's not strong enough. Goro, nodding, that's normal. With time, your bow will become more defined. You just need to focus more, Issei. Let your energy flow, don't force it. When you're calm, it'll become easier. The moment of progress. After hours of practice, Issei's concentration is starting to take its toll. His hands are shaking, his brow drenched with sweat, but there's a new sense of purpose in his eyes. Finally, after much effort, he raises his Qunicie cross once more, focusing all of his energy into it. The faint outline of his bow flickers again, but this time, it solidifies. It's not as strong as his father's, but the bow that forms is a visible, glowing blue arc, a tangible representation of his growing power. Issei, exhausted but triumphant, I did it. I made the bow. Goro smiles proudly, a rare warmth in his eyes. Goro, you did, Issei. You're starting to understand what it means to be a Qunicie. But this is only the beginning. Every day, you'll need to train harder to become stronger. The next step, combat training. That afternoon, Goro sets up a small target dummy in the backyard. He instructs Issei to use his newly formed bow to aim and fire at the target. Goro, you've learned how to form the bow. Now you need to learn how to control its strength. Every Qunicie can adjust the power they put into their arrows. Too much power, and you risk losing control. Too little, and you won't hit your target. Issei takes aim, his little hands steady as he draws the bow. His body is focused, and for the first time, his spiritual energy seems to flow naturally into the bow, shaping the arrow. He takes a deep breath, releasing the arrow. The arrow flies toward the target but misses just slightly, hitting the edge of the dummy. Issei, disappointed but determined, I missed. Goro, don't worry. Every Qunicie has to practice. What matters is that you're learning. Now, take a moment, calm yourself, and try again. The hidden presence. As Issei continues to practice, Goro notices something out of the corner of his eye. A figure, watching from the trees at the edge of their yard. Goru's eyes narrow, his hand instinctively going to the hilt of the sword at his side. Goru, under his breath, someone's watching us. Mickey, overhearing the hushed words, glances toward the trees, her expression clouded with worry. Mickey, who could it be? Goru, I don't know, but we're going to have to be careful. Someone is looking for Issei. It's only a matter of time before they make their move. I think we'll end here. There will be a part 2 coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that. Also, if you liked this, hit the subscribe button and share it with a friend who enjoys what ifs.